we've just been able to connect with so many different podcasts. And it's really interesting that a lot of times people think like it's been done. Why are you starting a movie podcast? Like, who's going to listen to that? And really, we can't say it enough. There's enough space for everyone. And everyone we've encountered has been so gracious, and they have their own thing going and we have our own. And although we're talking about movies, it's two completely different spins on how to approach it, what type of content we're putting out there, what movies we're choosing. And so this is our PSA. Like, if you want to do a podcast, but don't think anyone will listen, like, number one, it's okay. If you're the only one doing it and you're having fun, do it for you. But number two, you'll be really, really surprised at the amount of listeners and support you gain very, very quickly. You just have to be willing to kind of self-evaluate, pivot if you need to, always working on improving upon what you have in your foundation of a podcast.
Yeah, you have to just put yourself out there. I think that's the hardest thing. Yeah, I think being able to do this together has helped quite a bit, but there's so many things that this podcast has just, I think, helped us individually overcome. Like for me, I hate my voice so much. Hate my voice. And having to do this process, I thought listening to myself on the episodes was going to be really difficult, but just the process of doing that has helped. Visually having to like put myself out there and make videos, it's very, very hard. So that has helped me a lot because I don't think about myself. I think about it's good for the podcast. It's good for both of us. So yeah, the podcast has helped me be nicer to myself and not so hard. So I appreciate that. It really has been just a lesson. People always ask, how do you start a podcast? How do you start anything? You do it. I know that sounds really simple and stupid, but we get so much far up our asses in our heads about things. I think you need to do it. I think you need to be consistent, and you really need to work on quality. You have to, definitely just taking the steps. But I think another thing is to listen to feedback, ask for feedback, but trust your gut too. People are coming from different perspectives. And I do believe that if you're doing something right and you're seeing the results start to happen, then you continue in that path and you make small tweaks to continue to grow.
Yes.
If you're not seeing anything happen, don't do the same thing because it's not working, right? I think one of the hardest things for me is meeting podcasters, and like I see things that they are not doing that make sense, and I really want to say something, and I don't want to be like rude.
But like, we know how to do this. Because we don't.
No, we don't. But I can see that, like, if they just made 2 minor tweaks, it would help them greatly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to keep that to myself sometimes, unless they ask, and then I'm like, okay, you want the real? Here it is.
And you have to be able to put your pride aside, and when someone offers you feedback, don't get defensive.
But
really take in what they're telling you and then digest that. Maybe ask a couple more people, like take that information, do your own research, and then if you need to make a change, don't be afraid about making that change. Like, your followers will go wherever you take them.
Yeah.
If it's for the betterment of the podcast, then just do it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that pushed us was we started really simple. We knew our premise going into it. And so we kind of just shored up our premise with like the time frame and everything. We chose colors and what our logo was going to be. We chose a name, and then we said, okay, on this date, we're recording our first podcast. And we gave ourselves a finite timeline of we're recording. So
Yeah.
we better have something prepared by then. And I mean, with two of us, there is a little more accountability because
Yeah.
I mean, I have someone who's depending on me to do my half so they can do their half. And we always say, like, I'm like, Danielle has such a hard job running social and doing the engagements and booking guests and stuff. But then on the flip side, she's always like, you have to sit down and edit for hours at a time where I don't have to worry about that. So
Wouldn't do it.
she wanted, first episode, she wanted to hire someone. I was like, literally,
I didn't remember. You've been a teacher for so long, bitch. It's not my fault.
It's true, but my college degree is in film and video, and that includes editing. And although at first we weren't editing for video, which is why the first 5 episodes are not up on YouTube, because I have to go back and re-edit them. Editing for audio is pretty similar. So
yeah, if you want to do a podcast, get out and do it. And if you need any help, hit us up. We are more than happy to give feedback and tips and tricks that have worked for us so far.